call hello Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakwa Kodash. I want to start off by giving double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, who we learn this 100% truth from. And I also want to say shalom to the brothers who are preaching this same truth of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, to the four corners of the earth. So to those men, I want to say shalom. And I also want to say shalom to the sincere sisters who are listening and learning in silence. So to everybody who I just mentioned now, I want to say shalom, okay? And shalom is peace, right? So sending peace to them. And I don't want to quite yet say this is the finale or the last part of the What is the Milk series that I have going, but this is part 10. And this, ever since I was on the earlier ones, I was talking about how it would ramp up in, you could say, intensity, yes. And this part 10, but just off the top of my head now, okay, without the true fear of the Lord, right? If somebody truly fears the Lord, they would call on these names, right? And that's the super differentiating. This is what differentiates us between a lot of Israelites, okay? Especially the ones who even know who they're Israelites. Some Israelites know they're Israelites, but they refuse to call on these names. They don't fear the Lord, okay? And in this one, the last video, I don't know if it's the last video, but part 9, I tried my hardest to really instill, with my human brain and my human mouth, Lord willing, I'm speaking these words, and it's Yahweh while Yahweh Shai speaking through me, but nobody can really put that fear into you like Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai can, okay? But in this part I was trying to really try to instill that fear in you, but then I also try to reassure you that despite however dark it may get, it will get, Salakia, despite how dark it will get, if you have that ultimate faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, you will get through it. But this fear of the Lord, it's really a deadly serious thing. It's really a deadly serious thing because it's so many things. And listen, we're all not perfect, but there's some things that I'll say like this, someone can sin on accident, then somebody can sin willingly, right? And I'll say one thing is that Great Millstone, which I am not a part of, right? So forgive me, I guess, but this is who I learned from, right? So I'll say the men who believe in Yahweh Bahashem, there you go, that's what I should say. The men who believe in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, there's some things that they do and don't do that the men who don't call on those names, here, let me rephrase that. There's some things that the men who believe in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, they restrict themselves from doing that. They do not do those things. Whereas other Israelites, even Israelites with, lots of views and they're popping, whatever the fuck, right? There's some things that the men at Great Millstone, the men who believe in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, there's some things that they don't do, whereas the other camps, they do it, okay? Namely, I'll just go off very quick from what I remember, I remember, which, what stands out to me immediately is they say There's men who know they're Israelites, but they keep long hair. Okay, specifically dreadlocks, but they get lineups, right? They still smoke, right? In their churches they commit adultery. And all these things, man. To go to drive to the fucking barbershop, to sit down and wait because you're gonna have to fucking wait. You don't book in no appointment. To sit down, wait 30, 45 minutes. Whole time you know what it says in, is it Deuteronomy? And you still end up getting that crispy ass lineup. At the end of the day, brothers, this is a choice, okay? And it's a choice, and it's a wrong choice. It's the wrong choice, okay? To go and get in line up, to go and do this and that. But that's not something Great Millstone. Well, let me not say. Well, yeah, Great Millstone, but also, in general, the people who believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, okay? This is not behavior that we even have to worry about. We're past that. We're fighting different demons, okay? But why are we past that? How have we managed to just so easily defeat the demon of getting a lineup, defeat the demon of lining up your beard so you could fucking attract all the baddies, whatever, right? Just past the carnal. Why are we like that? Is because in some way, some forth, without boosting myself, without giving myself prop, whatever, and without putting those men on a higher pedestal, I have to say that there's a higher level of the fear of the Lord, okay? Because here it is, okay? Look, GMS strongly emphasizes fear, discipline, and judgment. Now check this out, man. If you truly fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, that means you truly fear the consequences that may come for fucking up. Especially if the fuck up is something so avoidable. Here I am on my lunch break, okay? And today is Monday, June 15th. The sundown is going to be at 9 something. So, yeah. Foolishly, or maybe not foolishly, however, maybe I just forgot, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter, right? I did not bring in lunch, okay? Here I am making a video on my lunch break where I'm talking about lunch. I didn't buy lunch. Now, if my carnal self said, let me go get a fucking shawarma, whatever, real quick, now I have to spend money, cause somebody to work on the Sabbath, although, they're already working. But that's a choice that somebody would have to make that, quite simply, you don't have to make, right? As I'm sipping on my, let me just take a drink of this, hold on. I'll make do with fucking holding out, or waiting until I get home and maybe eat some canned, or however the fuck it looks like, right? Or maybe I'll go back in the office and eat the popcorn they have there, whatever the fuck it looks like. It's going to be a choice to go again, or break the Sabbath, right? Prematurely. Now check this out. When I say that, I must also say, because it's something I've definitely heard brothers speak on, but there's also such a thing as about being overly righteous. For example, if one of us brothers, the 1/3 brothers comes to us, and they absolutely fuck, whatever it is, they need boiling water for something, or else they lose their life. I'm just making a silly example, right? But I hope you get the point, right? Or here's a better one. If your car breaks down, or no, not breaks down, but it's literally about to break down, and there's no way for you to get home, and you remember that the fire is on or something, so you need to go, then guess what? Don't be over righteous, beg Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai for forgiveness for, what you have to do, which, might be you have to um get gas, right? Purchase gas on the Sabbath. There's a time and place, right? We even read about that. Where did we read about that? We even read about. I forget where it was, but it was somewhere we read together in this series actually, where people were criticizing Yahweh Shai for quote unquote working during the Sabbath. But it's like he healed somebody or something. So there's a time and place. Like, I mean, you should know, don't fucking gamble or like just do something for your pleasure on the Sabbath. But hey, man, if something needs to happen, it needs to happen. Okay, but specifically back going to the fear of the Lord, that discipline, it definitely holds you, it holds you back from, just fucking doing things because your flesh wants to, whereas only doing things if, you could say your spirit needs to, right? Let's say, for example, you absolutely need to spend money or you're going to die, or somebody's gonna die, or even somebody's gonna get hurt, or you're gonna get hurt. However the fuck it looks like, use your judgment, right? So, I guess that was a little detour about this Sabbath specifically, but this what we're about to get into is not only about the Sabbath. Okay, so let's do Proverbs chapter 1. BLB. Blue Letter Bible. Proverbs. Salakia. It's hot as hell in here. But I also don't want to roll down my window because, I am at work. I could have drove away a little bit, but it's okay. Proverbs 1. And then we're going to read 7. Right? Yes. So this is Proverb chapter 1 verse 7, and it reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." It's plain as day, right? When you read it, okay? If you want to increase in this truth, in knowledge, right? First, you must fear the Lord because it's the beginning of knowledge, right? But fools despise wisdom and instruction. Before I even made this video, before I, got, well, no, that's not true. When I got into my vehicle, before I clicked record, when I read this, I honestly, it's not even an obsession. It's just, it's a serious fucking disappointment. And who am I disappointed in? I'm disappointed in my but I know it has to be this way. I know there has to be 1/3, and I know it has to be 2/3. But I'm really disappointed in my cousin. Okay, because but realistically, I shouldn't be, because I know some people can be worldly smart. They can be smart in whatever the fuck they're into, right? Whatever the fuck they're into, they can be smart in these things, but they're not smart when it comes to the scriptures and more, and some of the things he says, man. That's why I really can't talk to him, because I know he has this. I know he has like Jake. When we speak, we speak with super fucking conviction. Like, I guess the word is zeal, right? But like, for example, there would be one thing that he doesn't agree on, like, oh, I don't believe that Israelites could have slaves. Why are we doing what our enemies do, or something like that? He's like, then I said, well, I mean, there's even laws that Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai himself has for Israelites regarding slaves. And he said, well, then I don't believe it. I don't believe, well, I don't believe in that part, but I believe in some things. Then I told him, well, if you don't believe in one of the true things and you don't believe in any of it, then boldly, he says, I don't believe in all of it then. It's like, ay, ay, ay. The fuck? And you know what? You know, I, I've learned recently, you know, because he's my cousin. I like talking to him, but I learned, hey man, I don't have to talk to him about that specifically, right? I can, you know, if that topic comes up, then okay, you know, we talk about it for a sec. But when it gets to not controversial, but when it gets to a point where I don't want him to fucking say something that'll condemn himself later, I just say, you know what, we agree to disagree. Then he'll say, but what about this? I said, we agree to disagree, bro. Hey, what do you think about this new video game coming out? You know, so that's realistically again another sidetrack, but to read it again, Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And that wisdom and instruction, specifically the instruction, it could be like rebuke, right? Fools hate being fucking corrected. Me personally, I wish I was in a fucking camp. Somebody goes, hey man, do this. Hey man, come on. Hey man, you know, fuck man, that's living life on easy mode, man. You have an elder just telling you how to get better, man. Not, you know, I don't mean to say like you won't get better if you don't have somebody over you, but that's my personality, man. I was already in those fucking sports, so I'm just noticing something. I got holes in my sock. That's not good. But you know, like I was saying, I always had a coach. You know, always played sports. Fuck, when I'm doing I was doing MMA for some time. I had a coach. You know, I don't mind being instructed. Now, how much more better would it be if you had a coach in this truth of ours? Imagine you have a coach. Um, you know, in this truth, right? And a man who's been doing it for way longer than you, who knows, don't bother with this. It's only gonna lead you down the right path. Do this instead. What? But some brothers, they hear somebody say that and say, man, you know my daddy, man. You know my daddy, nigga. You know, or bro, just because you've been here a year longer than me doesn't mean you can tell me what to do. You know, some bullshit like that. You know, it's ego getting in the way. Me personally can never. Okay, and you know, then as far as the wisdom, the despise wisdom. You know, that could look like you know, maybe not wanting to, you know, maybe instead of, you know, learning everything, you know, as a whole about the truth, they only want to look at you know, what interests them, what keeps their attention, versus, you know, taking the whole of it, right? So that's pretty much what I'll leave it as for this Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. I'll read it again. It reads, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay, so for you to become wise in this thing, for you to increase in knowledge, what do you have to do? You have to fear the Lord. Okay, and right now you may be saying, okay, what's fear of the Lord? Like, what's fear? What, like, what do you mean fear? Like, I gotta genuinely, like, walk around tippy toe, or I I have to fear and revere. Like maybe you might not know, but don't worry, I have notes. Okay, I have notes set aside. After I read these scriptures and go over them, then I have notes written here, and it'll kind of be a in-depth in-depth description as far as like the definition of fear. Okay, but now we go to Ecclesiastes, yes. Verse 12 and chapter 12 verse 13, and it reads, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." Now, here it is in a scripture telling you that your sole purpose here on this earth is to, one, fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, fear God, and keep his commandments. Okay, the laws are not done away with. Right, the law still matters. For this is the whole duty of man. Okay, and that's it's not broad. All right, I wanted to use the word broad, but maybe I don't know a better word to use, so I'll just use the word. It's a broad thing to say fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, because that goes into, I mean, making this video, right? Going on the highways and byways as a man, loving your husband wholeheartedly, as a woman, respecting uh, um, your parents as a child. All these things go into what it is to keep his commandments. And so when you hear the word keep his commandment, it's a very broad list of things, and it's pretty there's even some specific things for some brothers, right? So for the elders, when it comes to keeping the commandments, don't lead your people astray. And I'm not fucking speaking about anybody specific, please. Let me say that. I'm just saying what your duty may be. Whereas me personally, I'm a one-man team. I don't have someone under me to look over. And also, I'm sure there's somewhere in the commandments, to respect your wise men, your elders, right? And hey, I have that. I could say indirectly, Great Millstone and the elders from there would be my wise men, my elders, but like not directly. I don't have, I don't, so to speak, so to say, quote unquote, like take orders, I guess, from them. But, I do, right? So it's so many things that go into keep his commandments. But this is the second time, and there's many times, trust and believe, where it says to fear Yahweh. Okay, for this is the whole duty of man. You as a man here on this earth, this is, as an Israelite man specifically, even, that is what you were called on this earth to do, to fear Yahweh and keep his commandments. And you could really live a beautiful life. We are getting ready to live a beautiful life doing that exact fucking thing. The kingdom, what do you think the kingdom's going to be, man? The law is going to be in us, so the commandments will be followed to the utmost T, to the utmost I really meant to say we will be following it to the T, like to the dot, right? And fear of Yahweh, that will be fucking solidified in us. We'll fucking see the destruction of Babylon. It will be no soul on this earth who won't fear Yahweh after some like this. Then imagine, then the people, imagine if somebody that won't fear Yahweh, they'll just have to look at his men, right? They'll just have to look at his 144,000, his angels, his chariots, and for sure it'll instill that fear, right? That righteous fear. Okay, but Here it is. This one to me is very simple, okay? I don't think there's no hidden meaning here, okay? Fear Yahweh and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. This is what the scripture says. This is what you must do. This is the milk, man. Believe it. You read it, therefore you must believe it, please, okay? This is now we go Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews. Am I blind? 10 verse 31. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 31, and it reads, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." Let me read 32. "But call to remembrance the former days in which, after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of affliction." Let me read 33. "Partly whilst ye were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly whilst ye became companions of them that were so used." Christ or judgment. Verse 31, it reads, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." So the way I can see this, if you don't have the fear of the Lord after it's already been commanded to you, I just read it twice. After it's been commanded to you to have a true and righteous fear of the Lord, and still, if you're still like, okay, I don't know what this means exactly, don't worry. After I read this final scripture, then we're gonna get into it, okay? So please bear with me. But if you don't have this fear, this true and righteous fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, there's a chance that you may, as it says here, fall into the hands of the living God, meaning you may fall into his judgment, okay? And here, let's do this. Salakia, I'm hiccuping. Lord willing, I'm about to show examples of what it looks like to fall into the hands. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. And it reads, "See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." What you just read, I hope you can understand it, right? This is Yahweh himself speaking. He says, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Look at yourself now. Look at that scar on your body. Who gave that to you? See how it healed nicely? Who did that for you? Bro, let me just say Salaki in advance. Man, this is deadly fucking serious, okay? Because now I'm just remembering there was a brother in Great Millstone. He had a stroke, man. And I know he knows before me. I know he knows harder. And I know he knows more clearer than me. If you were to speak on this, who gave him that stroke? Who saved them out of that? For another brother or somebody else in this, who who allowed you to be involved in that gang violence? Who saved you from that? Who took your brother's life? This is deadly serious, people. Who judged those around you? Who gave cancer to those around you? Who allowed those around you to be healed from cancer? I really hope I'm striking a nerve. I really hope I'm speaking to you. I really hope I'm saying something that can bring out something, maybe an emotion, man. I need you to, I really, when it comes to the milk, man, you have to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because this whole world, even the words I'm saying now, I'm not saying them on my own. Everything is done through Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I'm looking at this conduit out on the side of this building. A part of it is straight, then it's crooked. You know, everything. I'm looking at the trees. I'm looking at this fucking white truck beside me. Everything was authorized. Everything was allowed to happen through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, bro. You have to really understand there's nothing that we have done on it on our own. Here, let me read it to you again, okay? It says, where am I? I wound, I healed, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Okay? It says, and there is no God with me. There's no force outside of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that is doing anything. You people really, okay? If you really, and that's why it says, the beginning of knowledge is through the fear of the Lord. Because if you don't have this fundamental, you know what, I'd say this is probably top most important thing. If you cannot understand that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is the word orchestrator. Okay, I'm gonna use that word. Is the author, is the creator, is the doer of absolutely everything, good, bad, however the fuck you want to look at it, whether you think it's good or bad. The author of everything, unless you truly understand that, you're just a fucking chicken walking around with its head cut off. And that's actually the visualization that I got. You're just some retarded beast who doesn't fucking know what's going on. And I don't even mean that in an offensive way. If you truly don't understand that everything in life, bro, if you don't if it doesn't give you chills somehow that you're a fucking ant and you're being controlled by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and then just take a look in the sky. You know, right now for me it's cloudy, but take a look in the sky and really get fucking shivers and fear on your body that there's genuinely a God that controls everything. You have to understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's read it again. See now that I am, even I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. You have to really fucking take that in. I really wish I knew English better to explain it to you people. To me, it's already solidified. Like, I can just imagine, but even my imagination doesn't compare to the absolute truth that the fear of the Lord. Because, and right now I'm just thinking, you know, Salakia for rambling, not really rambling, but going into so many different topics. But right now I'm just thinking, there was just a woman who was thrown off a cliff in Brazil. I'm laughing, right? See, I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because how crazy it is. But it's really not crazy because, you know, something much worse could happen to me right now as I'm recording this vid. Like, like, I don't. Yeah. I honestly, my English, man, my English is lacking. I'm kind of stun locked. Like I don't even know how to properly explain it to you. But you have to really, I don't want to say meditate, but pray for that true understanding, and how Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is to be feared 100%. Because what was I reading before? It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, right? And Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai could just set you up with your worst fear, and those things are coming too during Jacob's trouble. Man, those things are coming, and Lord willing, I can escape things because. But you know what's so crazy is because like carnally, I could say, oh, I'm kind of scared of this, but there's nothing I fear more than Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because I know, I know there's something that my carnal hasn't even experienced, my flesh hasn't even experienced, that I'm even more scared about. But I know that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai could have that prepared for me if I don't have true fear in Him. you know so the number one thing you must fear is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, brother. Let's just leave it Hebrews 10:31 at that, okay? In Hebrews 10 verse 31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, okay? So I hope when I was talking about who gave you who gave those around you cancer, who healed them from that, I hope when I was going into that, you you understood and you answered correctly, okay? It's not the fucking radiation. I mean, yeah, it's through the I'll say like this. Yes. Um, whatever Esau created the radiation. Now your folks got cancer. Yes. Who allowed them to get cancer? Who allowed Esau the technology to do that? Who allowed that person in your family to be close to that whatever radiation to get that cancer? That's what you have to fear. It's Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Anyways, I feel like, and I want to say Salakia truthfully, because I feel like the reason why maybe I'm not doing a good job explaining, but although I really do hope, for you people's sake, I am doing a good job, but I feel like maybe the reason why is because this is something I already know. Like, at this point, I'm just trying to find, the 100th way to explain it, which maybe that's the righteous thing to do, maybe not, but either way, I understand it myself. So maybe I feel like it's hard to say it properly in English for you to really, really get it. But at the end of the day, too, I feel like I don't have to stress too much on that, because first of all, there are brothers who have even more fear, not, which, that's not a nice thing to admit. Of course, I would like myself to have the most fear in Yahweh Bashim, but I know it's not true, man. I know there's people who have even more fear in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, okay? And that's a beautiful thing. And surely those brothers would be looked after during the time of temptation, right? But I'm trying to get that for you, okay? I'm trying to get you to understand the importance of that, okay? And there's that, man. Let's not go too much into that. So now let's do Psalms. Psalm 111. Is it? Yeah. Verse 10. Psalm 111, verse 10, and it reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever." This is a repeat of what we just read, that second one we just read, okay? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments, right? So it's like, fear Yahweh, keep his commandments. That's the same thing we read, okay? Low-key, maybe what's written here may have been inspired by the other one, or vice versa, right? But that's the truth, man. How many times you need to read it until you need to understand? If you believe, sorry, I didn't mean to slam that hard, but if you believe in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, okay, you have fear in Him, okay, because the fear of the Lord, that's what's gonna kickstart your wisdom, right? When you have true fear and you say, please, you say, Baba Kasha, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, let me get close to you, let me learn about you, then that thing will called wisdom will be opened up unto you, okay? And a good understanding have all they that do his commandments, okay? And you become smart specifically in this thing when you keep to your hardest abilities, the commandments, okay? Now we can leave it there for the scriptures. Now, excuse me, damn it, Salakia. I don't know why I'm hiccuping like this, okay? Fear. Let's go into fear. My short answer, okay? For you people, so what are you scared of? Answer that, okay? When you know what you're scared of, okay, let's say it's a spider. Okay, if you're scared of a spider, are you going to fucking tempt the spider? Are you going to go play with a spider? Okay, if you're scared of the dark, are you gonna go play in the dark? Are you gonna mock the dark? Are you gonna mock the spider? Come get me, spider. Come bite me. No. Okay. And really, I don't know where I was going with that, but what I want to say is, fear is like it's when I say fear, it's a true fear, right? So I read to you Deuteronomy 32 and 39. Let me just see what is going on in Amos really quick. Chapter 3, verse 6, and it reads, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?" Question mark. Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord hath not done it? Yes. Okay, what's the latest? What's the latest evil? But let me just, I don't even really want to. Let me just quickly go on Twitter and see what the latest evil is. Okay? Where can I find the latest evil that has happened? Oh, okay. There's a guy named Oliver Tree. Apparently he crashed. Okay, a plane or something. Who did it? Who do you think did it? Okay. What's another good one? Yeah, bungee jumper who plunged 130-foot bridge with a cord. Whoa! Wow, that woman is still alive. Or she was still alive. I don't know about now. This post is from an hour ago. She was still found. She was found alive, man. Who saved that woman, right? Who allowed those guys to fuck up the bungee thing, and who allowed that woman to survive? Okay, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. What's another one, man? Let me just get one more, man. I thought I saw something about a stadium collapsing. Um, Maybe not. Maybe during the Brazil shit, or not the Brazil. What's it called? I thought hold on. Let me just. I'm right now. Right now, I'm looking at There's this video of this woman, and she's driving, and she's texting, and then she what's it called? Swerved off the road, whatever. But again, who caused that, right? But back to the point now. Okay, Salakia, for allowing myself to get distracted. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Question mark. Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? Any crazy events? Any civil war? Any? Okay, here. I said civil war. Now I'm reminded. This Carmelo Anthony and the young kid who got shot in the back by the Asian, who allowed those things to happen, right? Who allowed those things to happen? Okay. Where does it say? And the Lord hath not done it? Question mark. He's asking you a question. You don't think Yahweh Bashim Yahushua did these things? all the wickedness, all the right, all the beautiful stuff, and all the wickedness. You don't think Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the author of these things? You don't think he's the one who said, who instructed, should I say, his angels to go and carry those things out? You don't think so? You would be a fool, okay? You would seriously be lacking wisdom, okay? If you don't think Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the one doing all these things. How many times do I need to read it, okay? Let's go Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. And it reads, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So now he says he kills and he makes alive. He wounds and he heals. Light, dark, peace, evil. I'm reading it to you. You're reading it for yourself. I'm imagining somebody who is so stubborn who won't understand it, and to that person I want to say, fuck you. Genuinely, get the fuck away from this channel. Fuck you. Like somebody, like I don't know, man. I have to say the water Yahweh Bashim Yahushua because I believe this to where I'm prepared to die for it. I don't know. That's just me, and I'm actually fucking offended that somebody can read these, look what's going on in the world, and just not believe. I just don't want to be around somebody like that. Okay? Yeah. Now I'm looking at the notes, okay? It says that fear produces obedience, okay? So when we were reading Psalms 110, 1 verse 10, it reads, a good understanding have all they that do his commandment. So it's like somebody who truly fears Yahweh will strive to obey him, and a true fear, it leads to a true obedience, okay? And when you and it says that the fear is the beginning of wisdom, okay? So that fear, it leads to wisdom, and that wisdom eventually, okay, if you are keeping his commandments, if you have true fear in him, you think he's just gonna fuck you over in the end? No. What does it lead to? Salvation. Okay. I'm reading here in the notes a very good thing I want to read. It says fear is the opposite of pride. I think that's what my fucking cousin is. I think he's too proud. He's like, why should I fear anything? You fucking retard. You used to fear the dark. You used to fear fucking insects. As a bumblebee just flew in front of me, okay? You used to fear, did I say the dark already? You used to fear maybe getting whoopings. You used to fear shit. You probably still do fear shit. You don't want to fear the Lord? Fuck you. That's how I have to say it to anybody, man. Seriously. If you want to fear something, you fear the Lord. Now, if you're too proud to fear anything, you're a fucking retard and a liar. Okay? Now it reads here, a person who fears Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai understands that the Most High, Yahweh, controls life and death. We just read that. And judgment can come at any time. We just saw that with that fucking woman. She thought she was going to have a good time fucking bungee cording in Brazil. Then she fucking landed 130 feet and she fucking survived. You know she's feeling that fucking pain. And listen, this is not even a diss towards that woman. But let's just be realistic. You know, most women, and for you beautiful elect sisters, we're not even talking about you. Please, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, don't wear it, right? But you know how these women are, okay? Can I say maybe Brazilian? Who knows, man? Maybe I'm just yapping. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. To be honest, have I even talked to a Brazilian woman in real life? No. I live in fucking Calgary, okay? We don't have Latinos here. Although they're very beautiful. Nothing wrong with them, but hey, let me just say this, that maybe I'm wrong in this, okay? I don't want to just boldly fucking make claims that's not true, but you know how she looked, she was posting pics, she was looking right. So maybe she's like, I'm a boss bitch, I'm gonna go have a fucking fun day and post it on my Instagram. Then she got chopped 130 feet. Judgment can come at any time. That's why you have fear in Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Because even as I drive, I know that a fucking what's it called? what's the big fucking trucks, whatever they're called, not SUV. Fuck, whatever it's called. Those big fucking vehicles can run me off the road. The wind can just make it just make it just flatten out my vehicle. I know these things can happen, right? Or I can drive right in between a fucking divider. See how gruesome I'm talking about it? Hey, I think about these things, right? I know as I'm sleeping, somebody can kick in my fucking window or just shoot through it. Yeah? Or somebody can kick into it and come with a machete and just chop me up. I know. But will it happen? Who knows, man? Yahweh Bashim can make anything happen. Okay, let's go gruesome. I know I can get the world's first fucking disease that let's not even go there, Let's end the video here. Or soon rather, because I do need to dip, okay? I have 5 minutes. I got an hour lunch, by the way. So I do need to wrap this shit up pretty quick. Or not this shit up. Let me not say it like that. Salakia Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Let me wrap this. Although I could wrap the shit talking. I'll say it like that. But let me wrap this video up, okay? And we also read that nobody escapes his will. There's no other God that can reverse his action. And there's nothing you, a measly fucking ant I think he says worm. Okay, a measly worm in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. There's nothing you as his creation can do to reverse it, okay? Except for fearing him, except for having faith in him, then he'll be able to, then I mean, like you and your son. If your son fears you and he respects you, are you gonna fuck him over? And if you do, the devil is with you, you heathen, okay? But any normal human, they have a son who respects them, who, does everything they say in righteousness. What are you going to do? You're going to fuck them over? You must be an Edomite. You must be a fucking Edomite if that's what you plan on doing to somebody who does that. But us Israelites here, we don't roll like that, okay? Somebody respects you, somebody damn near fears you, somebody loves you in a way. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do your absolute most to look after them, and that's the truth, okay? No. Can I end it here? Yeah, let's end it there, okay? This is part 10. Kohola Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakokwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach this 100% truth very well. I also want to say shalom to the brothers who have taken this same knowledge, right? And how did they get this knowledge, okay? Because they fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, okay? And they took this same knowledge, and all of them do, okay? And they took this and they have spread it far and wide to the four corners of the earth, okay? And I also want to say shalom to the few sincere sisters who are listening and learning in silence. So to everybody who I just mentioned just now, I want to say shalom. On to the next. Thank you if you've watched part 1 through 10. This is really, for the sheep, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua says, if you love me, feed my sheep. He said that 3 times. I know, me personally, I love tutorials or like step 1 through 10. I watch them for games. So of course, if there's like a thing like this, like, top 10 things I must learn, so maybe I hear number 1 and say, oh, okay, I can understand this. Maybe I watch number 6. Oh, I don't get it. Then you can, and I advise you, brothers, okay, this is not the end all be all. Of course not. I'm not gonna boost myself to think I have the fucking 100% sauce, whatever. But if there's something you don't understand, I advise you, okay, the brothers of Great Millstone, or at least the brothers who teach Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, okay, who teach those names, Lord willing, they can't lead you astray, okay, because Lord willing, we're speaking directly for Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, okay. in the physical, okay, Baba Kasha, Baba Kasha, Baba Kasha, that is the case for myself at least. Fuck, me personally, I believe that is the case 100%, 144% for the men of Great Millstone. That's why I don't do nothing that, they couldn't co-sign. Now I'm not getting co-sign, whatever, but I try not to do anything that would look opposite of what they're doing. But anyways, shalom, on to the next.